rise up, and take your place. Move to the head of the line, join the human race. No more denying, open your eyes, open your eyes. You got a right, sure as you're breathing. You got a right to be free, and you got a right to feed your children and help them grow up strong. How can they face the future if they're hungry all day long? So rise up, and take your place. Move to the head of the line, join the human race. No more denying, open your eyes and see. You got a right, sure as you're breathing. You got a right to be free. You got a right to be angry at a system that has failed to honor all its people. You got a right to be heard, so rise up, and take your place. Move to the head of the line, join the human race. No more denying, open your eyes, and see. You got a right, sure as you're breathing. You got a right to be free, and you got a right to be here, sister, brother, teach the family. You got a seat here at the table. Sit on down right next to me and rise up, and take your place. Move to the head of the line, join the human race. No more denying, open your eyes and see. You got a right, you got a right, you got a right to be free. You got a right, you got a right, you got a right to be free. Yeah, you got a right to be free. You got a right to be free. Rise up, and take your place. Move to the head of the line, join the human race. No more denying, open your eyes, You got a right, sure as you're breathing. You got a right to be free, and you got a right to feed your children and help them grow up strong. How can they face the future if they're hungry all day long? So rise up, and take your place. Move to the head of the line, join the human race. No more denying, open your eyes and see. You got a right, sure as you're breathing. You got a right to be free. You got a right to be angry at a system that has failed to honor all its people. You got a right to be heard, so rise up, and take your place. Move to the head of the line, join the human race. No more denying, open your eyes, and see. You got a right, sure as you're breathing. You got a right to be free, and you got a right to be here, sister, brother, teach the family. You got a seat here at the table. Sit on down right next to me and rise up, and take your place. Move to the head of the line, join the human race. No more denying, open your eyes and see. You got a right, you got a right, you got a right to be free. You got a right, you got a right, you got a right to be free. Yeah, you got a right to be free. You got a right to be free.
Welcome, everyone, and thank you for joining us tonight. My name is Alfonzo Fonzie Silva. I am the California Kids Connection Program Coordinator for Family Builders. It is my pleasure to be your host tonight as Family Builders celebrates 45 years of changing the lives of children in foster care. We're so glad you're with us tonight. You've been viewing images of families who have adopted children and built their families with Family Builders over the years. We appreciate everyone who supports us and works together to create safe, loving families for children in foster care. It is always the families themselves who we appreciate the most. Maybe we can't change the world, but for the child who is adopted and their loving parent, the world does change. We have a full program for you tonight. I will be sharing some family stories, we will be enjoying some musical performances, and we will hear from some very special guests. To welcome you, it is my honor to introduce someone whose leadership means a lot to Family Builders and to all of us here in Oakland. Mayor Libby Schaaf.
Hi, I'm Oakland's Mayor Libby Schaaf, wishing Family Builders a happy 45th anniversary celebration. And you have so much to celebrate. Your mission, your goal of uniting every single child in foster care with a nurturing family. That is the ultimate goal that we all must embrace and support. Thank you for your incredible gift of trying to build a family for every child, regardless of race, gender, sexual orientation, or identity. You are all about building families. We in Oakland are proud to have served as your home base these many, many years, and we call on everyone to support your mission that is more critical than ever. Thank you, Family Builders, for 45 years of building beautiful, loving, nurturing families.
Thank you. Our 45th anniversary celebration of family is a fundraiser to raise money to make sure no child leaves foster care without a loving and caring parent. Every child needs and deserves a family to love and support them unconditionally. Family Builders is dedicated to helping the most vulnerable children in foster care. As we share stories and enjoy the program, when you are inspired to support Family Builders, I call to your attention the donation button in the corner of the screen or the QR code right behind me. You can click or scan the code at any time during the program to make a donation. I now turn the spotlight over to Family Builders Executive Director, Jill Jacobs. Jill just celebrated her 25th anniversary of leading Family Builders. She is nationally known as a champion for children in foster care. Please, virtually put your hands together and welcome Executive Director Jill Jacobs.
Thank you, Fonzie. Welcome and good evening. Thank you for coming tonight to celebrate our 45th anniversary. Tonight, I want to speak a bit about hearing voices. A lot has been lost and given up over the last 2 years, but one thing that we have loud and clear is our voice. There's a quote that hangs over my desk from Audre Lorde. It says, "If I waited for the right time to say what needed to be said, I would be speaking from the grave." I live by this motto, and for 25 years, I have led Family Builders by this motto. Family Builders has been using our voice for 45 years. We by saying that children should grow up in families, not institutions, no matter their disability or their dignity. And 45 years ago, this needed to be said. Our voice continues today by saying children should grow up in families regardless of their age, their race, their sexual orientation, their gender identity, or anything else. It continues with the message that families can and do change. So let's make those changes happen so children can stay with their families and in their communities. It continues when we give voice for children of color to have their culture, history, and heritage honored and respected. It continues with saying that children need to be able to give voice to who they are and to have the audacity to say that their families will love them as they are. And then repeating that over and over and over to every worker in the system who does not believe or grasp that. It continues in understanding that children who have experienced trauma need to use their voice, however they need to let us know their history and their journey. We need to use our voice to let kids in Florida know it's okay to say gay and to be gay. After all, Florida has Mickey Mouse and Donald Duck and all the princesses, and we can't say gay? Seriously? Do they know who designed all that fantasy? Can you say gay? We need to use our voice to let children in Texas know that it is okay to gender, and that there are folks who will love you and support you and care about you, including the President of the United States. This is important. More than 30% of children and youth in foster care identify as lesbian, gay, bisexual, trans. Most of these are Black and brown children. And in this country, 15% of LGBTQ youth have attempted suicide within the last year. These are our babies, y'all. These are our boos. Yes, I do call my 25-year-old daughter boo. If the president of this country can say, and I quote, "I'll always have your back as your president so you can be yourself and reach your God-given potential," end quote, then we can say gay. And thank you, President Biden, because in one small sentence, your voice validated millions of young people. Our staff use their voices every day. They support, they advocate, they stand up, they speak up, they care, and they cry. They persevere, they persist in creating for every child in foster care. Our work did not stop or end during COVID. And as we head into year 3, and today is the anniversary of the day that Family Builders went virtual, we're all a little pandemic weary, we are tired, but we have not lost our voices. They are loud and strong, and we will continue to use our voices going forward, no matter what. I want to thank our amazing and dedicated staff, our phenomenal leadership team who helps to guide me, and Director Nancy Buffum, who planned this event, and there's nothing like planning a virtual event, let me tell you. I want to thank Fonzie, who's our MC for this evening. Fonzie's been with us for 8 years in many different roles, and during all that time, I don't think he has ever said no. He always says yes. Thank you, Fonzie. And finally, I want to thank our board of directors for allowing me to give voice to family builders for 25 years and never shutting me up. Thank you all for being here tonight. We need your support to continue our voice. I'm going to turn it back over to Fonzie now, who's going to give you a story about one of our most persistent, never gives up members of our staff, Kevin Mapp. So Fonzie, take it from here.
Thank you, Jill. This story is both about how an amazing young person grew up in foster care and also about my colleague, Kevin, who was there for this young man for 7 years from age 14 to adulthood. AJ was 5 years old when he entered the foster care system. Family builder social worker Kevin first met AJ at his middle school counselor's office. AJ was very much the minority as a Black boy at his school. Kevin could see AJ's visible relief that his family builder social worker was an African-American man. Throughout the years Kevin worked with AJ, over and over AJ would say, "All I want is a family, to be in one place, not bounced around anymore." AJ liked skateboarding and dancing, and he knew a family would keep him steady through his teenage struggles. Kevin was able to identify a foster family that did that for AJ just before AJ turned 16. With his foster family's support, AJ enjoyed playing football in high school, and he eventually graduated. Kevin continued to support AJ and his foster family as AJ approached adulthood. Another thing AJ kept telling Kevin was how much he missed his father, even though he could not remember him. Kevin tried. He followed elusive leads and wrote letters to distant relatives in search of a family connection for AJ. One day, out of the blue, Kevin got a phone call from an uncle of AJ extending an invitation to a family reunion in another state. AJ's father would be at the reunion. With support from the county, Kevin and AJ flew together to a Midwestern state, then drove for 4 hours to a small town where the family reunion was taking place. AJ became more and more anxious as the hours wore on. When they finally arrived, the reunion of over 100 people was in full swing. The car had not completely stopped when AJ, now a football player-sized 20-year-old, leaped out and headed towards the crowd calling, "Where's my daddy? Where's my daddy?" AJ did it. He connected with the father he had longed for. He returned to the Bay Area, now with a father to stay in touch with and knowledge about his whole family. AJ thanked Kevin on the way back from the reunion, saying this was a piece he had been missing his whole life. "I feel complete now." So now I invite you to donate to Family Builders. Our program staff bring their whole hearts into their work, and we know that you are here tonight for the same reason. It's about the children. There are more AJs out there who need support. 100% of your contribution tonight will support building families for children and youth in foster care. Coming up next is our musical performance. But for now, take a minute, bring out your phone and text FBBA22 to 41444 or scan the QR code on the screen and give generously to Family Builders. Text FBBA22, F for family, B for builders, B for buy, A adoption, 22 to 41444, or click the donate link on the corner of this page to make your donation now for more young folks like AJ. Our sponsors have taken us halfway through our goal already. I'll take this moment to highlight Jury Tangri LLC, a gold sponsor for tonight's program and a true champion of family builders throughout the year. Thank you, Jury Tangri. And now, I present a special performance by a Bay Area treasure, a Grammy-nominated composer, singer, rhythm artist, and choir director, a true musical activist. Please welcome Melanie DeMoore.
Hello, my name is Melanie DeMoore, and I am so glad to be a part of this celebration for Family Builders. This is an organization that puts people together with people who will care for them, cherish them, and love them. There's nothing better in the world. And so I'm very glad that my song, Lead with Love, is being part of this celebration. Because you gotta put one foot in front of the other, and don't give up hope. You gotta put one foot in front of the other and lead with love. Put one foot in front of the other and lead with love. You gotta put one foot in front of the other and lead with love. Put one foot in front of the other and lead with love. Don't give up hope. Don't give up hope. You're not alone. You're not alone. Don't you give up. Don't you give up. Keep moving on. Keep moving on. You gotta put one foot in front of the other and lead with love. Put one foot in front of the other and lead with love. You gotta put one foot in front of the other and lead with love. Put one foot in front of the other and lead with love. Lift up your eyes. Lift up your eyes. Don't you despair. Don't you despair. Look up ahead. Look up ahead. The path is there. The path is there. You gotta put one foot in front of the other and lead with love. Now the other one foot in front of the other and lead with love. You gotta put one foot in front of the other and lead with love. Now other one foot in front of the other, and lead with love. I know you're scared, I know you're scared, and I'm scared too, and I'm scared too, but here I am, right next to you, right next to you. You gotta put one foot in front of the other, and lead with love. The other one foot in front of the other, and lead with love. You gotta put one foot in front of the other, one foot in front of the other one foot in front of the other, and lead with love, and lead with love, and lead with love, and lead with love.
Wow. Thank you, Melanie. And thank all of you for helping us get closer to our fundraising goal for the night, so Family Builders can carry out its mission of building loving, nurturing, permanent families for children in foster care. I have another special guest to introduce now, who many of you know. Senator Scott Wiener represents San Francisco and Northern San Mateo County in the California State Senate. Senator Wiener focuses extensively on making housing more affordable, access to healthcare, support for working families, and the rights for all communities, including immigrants and the LGBTQ+ community. And now, a message for Family Builders from Senator Wiener.
Hi, I'm Senator Scott Wiener. I have the honor of representing San Francisco and Northern San Mateo County in the California State Senate. And I just want to congratulate Family Builders for 45 years of service to our community and to our families and our children, and to really thank you for your incredible work supporting all families, including LGBTQ parents, LGBTQ kids, children in our foster care system, really working so hard and passionately to make sure that all children have the opportunity to have a loving family and to have that kind of nurturing and to succeed in life, and to make sure that all parents who want to be have kids and all people who would be great parents are actually able to be parents. So your work is amazing. I'm a big fan, and I'm just so deeply grateful, particularly now when we see so tragically around the country LGBTQ families and our LGBTQ kids under assault from politicians who are trying to score political points on the backs, particularly of our LGBTQ youth and particularly of trans kids. It's just despicable. It's so harmful. It really conveys to these kids that society doesn't value them, but we know that's not true. And so what you're doing sends the exact opposite message, and I'm so grateful for everything you do. Thank you.
Thank you, Senator Wiener. This is a good segue to talking about a unique Family Builders program for children and youth in foster care who are LGBTQ+ or gender expansive, the Youth Acceptance Project. Sadly, LGBTQ+ children, especially LGBTQ+ children of color, are vastly overrepresented in the foster care system and at risk for homelessness and many other negative factors. Here's a child who had better outcome because of Family Builders. We will call him Bryce. Bryce's sex assigned at birth was female, but he always knew he really was a boy. When Bryce came out as transgender at the age of 14, his parents separated. As his parents struggled with accepting their transgender child, Bryce also struggled with self-harming behavior, with academics, with relationships at school. The Family Builders Youth Acceptance Project social worker supported Bryce's parents through their journey of accepting their child's identity. Bryce's father welcomed the Youth Acceptance Project, and when Bryce and his sibling moved to live full-time with their father, their dad became a strong support for Bryce, advocating for him at school and within their family. We meet families where they need help, And through this journey, we have definitely been able to support this family. By seeing a family therapist with his dad, this has helped Bryce stop his self-harming behavior, and his grades got better in school. Bryce's father came to embrace Bryce's gender identity, including changing his name legally and getting medical support for transitioning. The Youth Acceptance Project has shown over and over that families can and do change. When their families participate in the Youth Acceptance Project, LGBTQ+ youth have shorter stays in foster care, return to their families, or even better, as in with Bryce, don't have to be separated in the first place. I ask again now, please donate generously so Family Builders can help more children like Bryce. See the donate button on your screen, or you may text FBBA22 to 41444. It is now my great honor to yield the floor to a true champion of children in foster care at the national level, U.S. Congresswoman Barbara Lee. Congresswoman Barbara Lee has been representing California's 13th district since 1998. She is the highest ranking African-American woman in Democratic leadership, serving as the co-chair of the Policy and Steering Committee, on the Budget Committee, and the Appropriations Committee, which oversees federal government spending. We are so honored that she has joined us for our 45th anniversary. Congresswoman Barbara Lee.
Good evening to the wonderful people of the Bay Area, especially those from my 13th Congressional District, which continues to be one of the nation's leaders in the fight for economic, environmental, and racial justice. I would like to thank Alfonzo Fonzie Silva for that warm introduction. I would also like to acknowledge my colleagues, my good friend, the Oakland Mayor, Libby Schaaf, State Senators Scott Wiener, and Dr. Daisy Gonzales, the Deputy Director of California Community Colleges, for also being a part of this wonderful occasion. Family Builders is known in Oakland, throughout California and nationally, as a champion for all children, especially children of color, who are vastly overrepresented in the foster care system. They educate the community about the needs of waiting children and advocate on their behalf and place children with secure and nurturing families through adoption and other forms of permanence. I want to lift up and congratulate the Family Builders by Adoption nonprofit agency for celebrating its 45th year of service to children, youth, and families in Oakland. Family Builders has been successful in making a difference and positive impact in the lives of children and youth in foster care. The work that they do is so important for our district in building a more equitable, supportive community for our children and youth. Thank you so much for your leadership in helping many thousands of children and youth gain the loving, supportive parents that every child of every age, race, culture, and background deserves and needs. I'm so proud to represent a district focused on addressing issues of equity, especially when it comes to equitable living situations and support systems for our youth. The foster care system is here to protect the welfare of our children. That is why the foster care system must continue to receive federal funding, investments, and grants which help in making sure the needs of waiting children are met and aid in placing children with supportive, secure families. To the parents, families, community members, staff, and board, thank you so much for staying woke and continuing to do what is needed to support Family Builders in their efforts to further raise funds to build more loving, nurturing, and permanent families for children and youth in foster care. Lastly, but definitely not least, thank you, Family Builders, for all you do, and once again, congratulations on your 45th anniversary.
Thank you, Congresswoman Barbara Lee. We are so grateful to have so many supporters of Family Builders together tonight. As I introduce our next special guest speaker, I call to your attention another gold sponsor, Better World Advertising. Thank you for your sponsorship tonight and for your longtime partnership and support for Family Builders. Better World Advertising. Dr. Daisy Gonzales, like many of our supporters, has a personal connection to the Family Builders mission. Born into an immigrant family in Southern California, Deputy Chancellor Daisy Gonzales spent much of her formative years in Los Angeles foster care system. Witnessing firsthand the numerous challenges and inequities students face, she quickly took on roles to advocate for student voices. Breaking barriers for women of color, Dr. Daisy Gonzales leads the country's largest higher education system, the California Community Colleges, as both the first Latina to serve as Deputy Chancellor and the first to take on the role of Acting Chancellor. Her experience and unapologetic anti-racist mindset uniquely qualify her as a leader. Now here is, and welcome, Daisy Gonzales.
Good evening, Family Builders, colleagues. It is an honor to be able to join you. While I am pre-recording, I wanted to thank you for your leadership, for your compassion, for your love to serve my brothers and sisters who are still in foster care. My name is Dr. Daisy Gonzales, and I'm currently the Deputy Chancellor of California's Community Colleges, the largest system of public higher education in this state and in the United States. But I grew up in foster care. And as I was preparing for this video recording, I realized that the trauma that I had experienced during my childhood is still something that I am still healing from. And I want to call it out because it took me a while to be able to sit down and share with you in a coherent way the gratitude that I have for the work that you do. 45 years of providing hope and optimism to students, to foster youth, that is incredible. To me, the work that you do, the work that you have done, is what a family does. I realized that while I was nervous, I didn't have to look very far for inspiration. I looked on your website, and the number one thing that stood out from your board, other than seeing Dr. Nikki Jones on your board, hi Nikki, was seeing the word family on your website. The fact that you treat everything from that approach, that your goal is to nurture, to heal, to have permanency for our foster youth in this state, that inspired me. And it inspired me to share with you a little bit about my journey and to share with you from a different perspective, from an ethnographer's perspective, what I see on your website, what I see about the impact that you are making in the lives of foster youth and in the state. I grew up in foster care since the age of 2, whether I knew it or not. It's been something that I have had to unpack and learn from myself and requesting my own records from my childhood. And it's actually something that I had to do very recent as I was being considered for a special nomination at the federal level. And what I learned was this. I grew up in foster care since the age of 2, in and out of the foster care system. And what I can share with you today is you are providing a lifeline. You are the safety net. The opportunities that you give students to find a permanent home is the best case scenario, because the experiences that foster youth have are things that leave a mark for life. I never found a permanent home, and people ask me, what do you think would have happened to your life had you found that? The reality is that we won't ever know. But what I can tell you with assurance is that the work that you are doing, the fact that you are pairing foster youth with a permanent home, with a permanent family, provides greater outcomes, greater probabilities of success. So, on your 45th anniversary of your incredible legacy in the Oakland community in California, I want to congratulate you. I want to thank you for what you do. And I want to leave you with this message. Every day I wake up, and when I think about the students that I serve in California's community colleges, many of whom are foster youth, actually, many who are incarcerated, I think about my own childhood. The fact that that journey, that trauma, that experience is not unique. many of our students in my system and the students that you serve may be first-generation college students from their first family, but when they get to you, you are transforming their outcomes. You are giving them that hope, that possibility that they could become something. I had many people like that in my own life. I'll share just a few of my favorites. When I was 13 and 15, those were really critical years for me. While I did not find a home, those were moments and years where I learned that when you give back as a foster youth, you feel a sense of empowerment. I had mentors. There was a woman named Connie Rex in the Department of Social Services at the county level in LA, and she developed a mentorship program for foster youth. And I was paired up with an incredible mentor. Her name was Doreen. She's still in my life. In fact, she is like a mother to me, a surrogate mother. And she sat with me to apply to college. She took me to my first museum. And it was, by the way, an exhibit of all women artists. And I didn't even know that that was a career. She took me to eat sushi for the first time, which was huge. Small things like that. But Doreen changed my life. Other women who changed my life were my teachers. Ms. Barker, she was my chemistry teacher in 9th grade in high school, ended up adopting me because I was homeless when I emancipated from the foster care system at the age of 17. So I was 17, no longer in the foster care system, and I was homeless. From there, I ended up at Mills College, an incredible place that gave me my voice. But it was that moment between 13 and 15, and I remember this very clearly. There was a moment in living in a group home when I was asked to lead. And I didn't know that's what it was called. I didn't know that's what it means to be a leader. But we lived in a group home. There were not a lot of supportive staff. And it was very rare for them to be able to serve us with dignity, with compassion. And one of the biggest challenges I remember that day was no one had washed our sheets for weeks. It had been a month. And a lot of the students were getting rashes. You know, it is when you live in a group home, there are a lot of students, a lot of youth who show up and leave. And I remember we were all really frustrated, and we had asked several times, and some of the sheets had not been washed for more than a month. And one of the foster youth said, "What do you think we should do?" And I said, "I think I have a plan. So here's our plan. We are going to refuse to go to school. We are going to collect our sheets and leave them outside the door, and no one is going to put on shoes or get ready for school until they wash our sheets." That day, I realized that that's what leadership was. Yes, it was a little bit of rabble-rousing, but what I realized was that getting to an outcome, using my own power, my own voice, was really powerful. So as I think about the legacy that you have accomplished in 45 years, the work that you do, the families that open up their homes, their hearts to foster youth, I want to leave you with this advice that has been critical in my life. When you serve foster youth with dignity and to empower, their outcomes, their ability to dream is unimaginable. For me to be able to give back to foster youth, to teach them how to use their voice, even if it was refusing to go to school, by the way, which it worked, because you can't explain why 6 children didn't show up to school. That moment was critical. It's something that I use every day. I do a lot of mentoring today. I mentor a lot of foster youth, many who have not found permanent homes. So the children that you serve are lucky, but they are also going to become the leaders of tomorrow. And so as I look at the impact of your 45 years, that is your legacy. The children, the families that you unite, those children will become the leaders of this state, of this country. And they will do it with love, with compassion, because that is what you have taught them, because they are family. So thank you for taking care of my brothers and sisters. Thank you for finding them a home, for giving them hope, for making them optimistic about the future. You have no idea what a life-changing experience it will be for them.
Thank you, Dr. Gonzales, for such special words. I have one more story for you tonight of an adoptive family, Hugh and Janine Sutherland and their 2 boys. The Sutherland family came to Family Builders 5 years ago with high hopes and even some fear about what adoption had in store for them. To their delight, Hugh and Janine were quickly introduced to 2 brothers, Aiden, who was 5, and Nicholas, age 7. The descriptions the parents-to-be had read did not prepare them for how the boys' introspective, funny, and social personalities would come shining through. After Hugh and Janine welcomed the boys home, Family Builder social worker, Gloria, was there to guide and encourage them every step of the way. With the support of their parents and others around them, both Aiden and Nicholas have grown leaps and bounds, and not just in height. While he was in foster care, Aiden had struggled with learning to communicate his needs and emotions to others and adjusting to school. Now, you can find Aiden thriving at the top of his class and communicating openly and freely. In his new family, big brother Nicholas had begun to learn not to be so hard on himself over mistakes. Nicholas is now a confident 12-year-old, secure in who he is. Together with their parents, they love to use manifestation, meditation, and goal setting to accomplish their dreams. There is nothing that will stop these boys from being the best possible version of themselves. Eventually, when the Sutherlands purchased a new home, they asked Nicholas and Aiden for their input. For the first time in their lives, the brothers felt they had a choice about where they would live. Now, their home is a sacred place where they can enjoy nature together and create memories. As Nicholas, now 12, perfectly states, "This is our home." Your participation as supporters of Family Builders makes our community possible and all of what we do to create loving, nurturing families for children who are in foster care. You can help make the difference in the life of a child when you donate to Family Builders. Text FBBA22 to 41444 or click on the donate link in the corner. I'll give you a few moments to make your donations, and then we will hear the final message of the evening from the president of the Family Builders Board of Directors, who has lived experience and a big heart connecting him to Family Builders. Welcome, Jindra Vackar.
This has been a wonderful evening, and I would like to thank you all for joining us tonight. This is an important fundraiser for Family Builders. Your donations are helping us to continue with our mission, building homes and helping create loving families for children and youth in foster care. It is my honor and my pleasure to serve as president of the board of directors of Family Builders. The Family Builders board is made up of volunteers who put their hearts, their resources, and their time into serving this amazing organization. With personal connections to the Family Builders mission and the backgrounds in education, finance, law, marketing, child welfare, and more, the board keeps the vision and works together to ensure Family Builders continue to succeed. My husband and I have adopted via Family Builders twin boys almost 16 years ago. As a family, we had many great and many stressful experiences, all of which gave us valuable lessons in humility, forgiveness, loyalty, hard work, and more. And I would just like to share one show that we get to actually see quite often as a family. From our deck, we look down onto a yard, and on one side, on top of a very high wall, every spring build their nest and raise their young there. We get to watch how they wait patiently for them to hatch, then work tirelessly for weeks to keep predators away and to bring enough food for their young. And then every year there comes the day. On that day, the parents don't just bring the food, they come to the nest, they show the worms, but then they fly to the opposite wall. They start flapping their wings widely and call onto their little ones. And we get to see how one by one, some with dread and hesitation, some with trust of invincibility, the little ones take the plunge from the 2 stories high wall and test their wings for the first time. Inevitably, most of them fall on the first time. There's a lot of screaming. The parents scream at their young, what I'm sure are only words of love, support, and positive reinforcement. The parents also scream at each other in what I imagine are words of mutual support of each other's parental choices. And the little ones scream in what I hope is gratitude and appreciation of their parents. However, by the nightfall, they all fly around and they start training for their journey south. Parenting is fun, but it is also a very hard responsibility. The cliche, "it takes a village to raise a child," is an understatement. You, connected to family builders, are part of this village, and it is needed there to raise kids who did not get the smoothest start into their lives. And I would love to take this opportunity to thank this village now. I have mentioned the board before. Thank you again. Special thanks to the development committee for their work to prepare this celebration. I would like to acknowledge again Family Builders staff who have persevered throughout the years and faced many challenges, especially over the past 2 years, carrying on, staying focused on children, and provide to the needs that they have. I would like to mention one more time our Executive Director, Jill Jacobs, who have celebrated her 25 years of service to our organization. And not to diminish this amazing 25 years anniversary, I'm also aware that we have staff with even longer tenures, and that speaks greatly to the life dedication the staff gives to the agency cause. I need to be also very grateful to all of you who have presented before me, to their contributions to the contributions to this virtual program. We had the lead speaker, Daily Gonzales, our special guest, Congresswoman Barbara Lee, Oakland Mayor Libby Schaaf, State Senator Scott Wiener, the music performance by Melanie DeMoore, Oakland School of the Arts Vocal Chorus, which you will hear coming up. Thank you, Fonzie, for working behind the scenes with the staff to make this happen. And extra thanks to the Family Builders families who have contributed your family photos and stories to this program. Many thanks to you, the Family Builders community, for donating so generously to this fundraiser to keep our program going. But above all, to all the parents who have created loving families for children in foster care. This is about the children who are the future and about making it possible for these young people to grow up and thrive with the love and support that every child of every background and every experience needs. Thank you all again, and have a good evening, and please donate more. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Jindra, and thank you all for joining us tonight. I want to give a very special thank you to our gold sponsors, Jerry Tangri and Better World Advertising, our silver sponsors, Brown and Patke, Vanguard Properties, Korth Sunsery Hagee Architects, and the Artisans of San Francisco. Our bronze sponsors, thank you to Arthur Gallagher Incorporated, Villegas Carrera, Jacobson Law PC, and Mutual of America. And a big thank you to our long-term supporters and early donors, with a special shout out to Carlos Reed, Katie and Dan Talbot, Rob and Monty Sullivan, Prudence Carter, and Fitness SF. Thank you to our virtual table host and to every single one of you who came here tonight and made a donation to help Family Builders change the lives of children in foster care. as we work to make sure each child can grow up in a loving, nurturing family. If you were moved by tonight's event and want to make a donation to Family Builders, I ask that you please do so now. This event will remain linked to our webpage. I encourage you to please share this link with your friends and families. And come back and watch again and make an additional donation. In a few minutes, we are having a Zoom after party following the closing performance by Oakland School of the Arts Vocal Ensemble. To join the party, you need to log in into the Zoom you received in an email. We will put the number on the screen after we close as well. Table hosts will each have a personalized breakout room, and guests will be able to join and socialize at the virtual table hosted by their friends. If you don't have a table host, you are welcome to join the virtual reception room hosted by our Executive Director, Jill Jacobs, or drop in to say hello from another room. Thank you for joining us tonight to change the lives of children in foster care. Good night, everyone.
Don't turn away. me, walk with me, walk with me, walk with me, walk with me.